Gold's Gym. That's right, you heard me, a lesbian at Gold's Gym. I didn't even know she was a lesbian, and I didn't necessarily think it was relevant, but she did. And so she mentioned it. She goes into a Gold's Gym at the women's room, and there is a man, as some would say, you a grown-ass man. A man. And he walks in there, and she goes nuts. She comes out, and she's screaming and yelling. In fact, here is this nice lady. I'll show you a picture of her. All right, there she is. And here's what she says on social media. I kind of truncated this, made it a little shorter so it's more palatable for all of us. But here she is. After she walks in and sees that guy on the right, a man says he's a woman. Of course, he's not. Here's what she says.
And it's really hurtful, yo. Like, how you gonna say you want to be a woman or that you are a woman, but you don't give a fuck how women feel? Today I was naked in the locker room. I turn around and there's a man there. In boy clothes, lip gloss, standing there looking at me. I'm butt naked. I say the word sir to say, sir, what are you doing in here? He goes, don't fucking talk to me. I'm a woman. I have a right to be in here. Immediately, I'm fucking pissed because I'm butt naked. I feel violated. I feel like weird. Like, I don't want to deal with this, right? What the fuck is going on? Like, listen, how can you say you're a woman?
What do you mean what the bleep is going on? You know what's going on. This is how it's been for a long time, but only now, and I'm not going after her, but only now are you realizing how big of a deal this is, how bad of a problem this is. Only now when you walk in and see a man looking at you buck naked. Now, she's going to go on and tell you she's a lesbian, and she's going to tell you that there was some kind of sexual assault when she was younger, which, without being rude or anything like that, I'm not trying to be, but probably has something to do with her sexuality because she was perhaps abused by somebody. But let's continue on with this.
Or you want to be a woman, and you don't care how women feel. That's nothing more manly than not giving a fuck about how women feel, I'd like to think. I'm a lesbian. I've been a lesbian my whole life. I treat people how I want to be treated regardless of whatever their sexual orientation is or whatever they decide.
She's not getting it, though. She doesn't matter. Women don't matter. Women do not matter. Men matter, and men who say they are women matter more than women matter. That's where we're at now. That is exactly where we're at now. Let's continue on with this.
Why do you guys think it's okay for men to be in the women's restroom? When is the cutoff point? Is it like, oh, you cut off your penis, you can come in here? Why aren't women making the laws? And if you really want to fucking be safe and feel good, why don't we just make trans restrooms? And don't come into my comments about he gay, he ain't looking at you. I don't give a fuck, bro. It's about a feeling, yo. Like,
whoa, it's about a feeling. See, that's about a feeling too. A man saying he's a woman is a feeling, bro. What's happening is you're getting your butt handed to you by people that claim to be in your camp. And this is what happens when you let men become women and let men say they are women. You get pushed to the side. Again, I'm not attacking her, but when you say it's about a feeling, so is it for him. It's the same thing for him. So if we want to play the feeling games, you're going to lose. Fact games is what we should play, which is if you have a penis, you ain't coming in here.
If you've never been a little girl who been touched or been through some shit, you won't understand that feeling. And you've never been a little girl.
I appreciate what she says, and I'm glad she says it. It was quite well said, except for all the F-bombs and such, but there it was. Oh, this is great. A group of illegals are now in Chicago, are now occupying apartment buildings, and they have formed a union and say they are going on strike. Illegals in apartments are going on strike because they cannot afford to live in said apartments because they don't have a job. Well, they do have a job, but they're too afraid to go to the job because of Chicagoland. I should say, what's it called? Operation, what is it called? Midway Blitz. Operation Midway Blitz. Because of that, they don't want to go to their jobs. And that's good. We want them afraid. This is exactly what I voted for. Another idiot who drove into ICE and crashed into her car today, also in Chicago, was dragged out. It was so awesome. I'm going to get videos soon so I can play for you this stuff. It's so awesome. She was dragged out. Young, attractive woman who was being a punk, and she smashed into the car, and she and everybody else claims, all the people, the thugs that came out yelling at ICE on the street, like always, came out, and they're yelling at at ICE and said that they ran into her. She slammed into the side of their car. And my favorite part is I can't wait to see her insurance claim. Ha ha! So but here we go. A group of illegals occupying a Chicago apartment building or buildings have formed a union and are refusing to pay rent, citing ICE raids and fear of working outside the house for their inability to pay the hikes under the new landlord. I told you this a week or 2 or 3 ago, that the rent is going up because illegals are not paying bills, because stuff getting fixed, because a lot of people are illegals that are working on these apartments and rental homes. Is taking 4 weeks instead of 2 weeks to put in an air conditioning unit because they hear that ICE is in the community. They won't come in. Plumbers, you name it. It's fantastic. It's awesome. The system is built on a sandy foundation at best, an illegal foundation, and it's going to crumble. The longer we got 3 years and 3 months to go at least. So let's keep this going. I'm very happy about it. Nicki Minaj. I don't know any of her music. I don't even know if you played it for me if I'd recognize it, but I know who she is, like we all do. She's a pop culture icon. She tweeted out a response to President Trump saying, talking about the Christians being slaughtered in Nigeria, I believe it was. Yes. Let me read Trump's tweet. It says, Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria. Thousands of Christians are being killed. Radical Islamists are responsible for this mass slaughter. I'm hereby making Nigeria a country of particular concern, but that's the least of it. When Christians or any such group is slaughtered like is happening in Nigeria, 3,100 versus 4,476 worldwide. So it is like 5/6 of all slaughtered Christians are in Nigeria right now. It's a genocide. It's a real genocide. Somebody let the Hamas supporters know that a real genocide is going on in Nigeria, not in Gaza. Something must be done, says Trump. I'm asking Congressman Riley Moore, together with Chairman Tom Cole and the House Appropriations Committee, to immediately look into this matter and report back to me. The U.S. can't stand by while such atrocities are happening in Nigeria and other countries. We stand ready, willing, and able to save our great Christian population around the world, says Trump. Nicki Minaj replies. By the way, she would later delete some of these replies that I'm going to read for you. She said this. Her first reply was, reading this made me feel a deep sense of gratitude. We live in a country where we can freely worship God. I think we take that for granted. I for a while, because of my late schedule when I was on nights here in Dallas-Fort Worth for so many years, I would have to go to we went to Sunday school at the later hour because we have 2 church services, 9:15 and 11. And so I would go to Sunday school at 11, and then my wife and I would come home and watch the service online because it was just too early for our schedules. For the first time in a while, I went to the 9:15 service, and it was just a beautiful day. And it was wonderful and special to worship at my church home, First Baptist Dallas. I was just emailing back and forth with my pastor, Dr. Robert Jeffers, today. And if you see on my social media feeds, there's a sweet woman named Sandra, and her husband bumped into me, and she says one of the reasons why she's at First Dallas is because she heard me told people about it on the radio. She heard me do my commercial endorsements about it, and it just meant everything to me. So it just made me think about that. When we live in a country where we can freely worship God, don't take that for granted, and enjoy it while you can. Thank you, God, for being in a country that we can worship openly and freely. No group, she said, should ever be persecuted for practicing their religion. We don't have to share the same beliefs in order for us to respect each other. That's very true. Numerous countries all around the world are being affected by this horror, and it's dangerous to pretend we don't notice. Thank you to the president and his team for taking this seriously. God bless every persecuted Christian. Let's remember to lift them up in prayer, says Nicki Minaj. And then comes the leftist and Trump-hating and Christian-hating trolls to attack her. And here's what she said. Imagine hearing, in response to people attacking her for what I just read to you, she says, imagine hearing that Christians are being persecuted and not being able to have empathy for them because you are blinded by your own personal obsession with Trump. This says more about you than him, but my darling. Blocked for being asleep, she says. And then another one, responding to another person, she says, imagine hearing that Christians are being murdered and making it about you being gay. See, this is somebody who's gay that says something like, how dare you, and I'm gay, and he, do these idiots not know that Scott Bessent, Trump's Treasury Secretary, is gay, openly gay? Do these idiots not know that Rick Grinnell, one of his top emissaries and negotiators, and former cabinet member in the last Trump cabinet, is openly gay. These people are so blinded. But Nicki Minaj writes. Well, actually, here's what the so-called fan. She doesn't even believe it's a real fan, but here's what the so-called fan said to Nicki, attacking her, and then she responds. Nicki is a diehard fan who generally sticks beside you through every single scandal. You cozying up to this effing loser, I might actually have to tap out. We live in a country that wants to weaponize religion so your gay fans can be, and then they can't be the rest, persecuted or something like that. So she writes, again, that idiot does not know Scott Bessent is his Treasury Secretary. I guarantee you, that he's gay. Because they don't make a big deal out of it. They don't lead the whole story with, I'm gay and black, like KJP. I'm gay, I'm black. Did you know I'm gay and I'm black? I'm gay, I'm black. I'm gay, I'm black. Yes, you're grandly incompetent. We're going to get to her thing in a minute, too. A little bit, the latest with her in a moment. So this listener says, or this person says, Nicki, is a diehard fan, blah, blah, blah. So Nicki responds to this gay person saying, imagine hearing that Christians are being murdered and making it about you being gay. Ha ha! That's great. That's great. When my home was swatted multiple times with my innocent toddler inside, maybe 20 officers with guns drawn pointed at our home due to political corruption, you being gay couldn't save me. Expecting someone to stay oppressed, abused, targeted, and harassed, and consistently ignored by public figures who were supposed to be helping them says more about you than it does anything else. I'll advocate for you the same way that I'm advocating for the murdered Christians in Nigeria, all caps, like I always have. Remember that. Diligently, compassionately, just remember that. Part 2. Remember that part 2. Lol, and I know you're not a, quote, diehard fan. So that was it. That was very interesting, wasn't it? Very interesting. You know, Trump just keeps winning and winning and looking better and better and better. Now, and you know, you saw, what was it? You know, I'm not going to play anything from 60 Minutes interview with President Trump yesterday. You know why? Because there's nothing controversial in there. Because it went like a normal interview should go. She challenged him a little bit. He challenged her a little bit. He bucked back. She bucked back a little bit. But it was a regular interview. It wasn't one of these classic ones. And I think it's because, what's her name? Barry Weiss has taken over 60 Minutes and CBS News. So I think that's what's going on there. So I'm not playing anything from there because there's nothing controversial from there. Good. Okay, here we go. Florida cop takes out a knife-wielding armored thug with a headshot and saves a boy he was holding hostage. Here's what happened. Inside of a house, inside of a bedroom, you got the door shut. You have a mattress shut up against the door. And you have a guy wearing a bulletproof vest or something, and he had a helmet on, like a motorcycle helmet, as if it would stop a bullet or something. And he's holding his little brother, 7-year-old, hostage with a knife. Mom calls the cops. Cops come in. You're going to hear it. They take it from here, and then I'll kind of tell you the rest of it, what went down after that. Here it is. This is in Florida.
Hey, Sheriff's Office, make yourself known. Sheriff's Office, make yourself known.
This guy's a badass. You're hearing his voice. He's a badass. He's about to put a frickin' bolt in this guy's head. One bolt through that helmet, right in his head. And listen to how quickly this goes.
Send the child out, please. Bring the child out of the room. Drop the knife and bring the child out of the room. Drop the knife, bring the child out of the room.
The kid said, bust down the door. You got it? There's a mattress on the other side of that door, so he's got to get that to the side. This guy's got a knife to a kid's throat on the other side. He doesn't know what's going to happen. Is he going to get shot, the cop and everything? So you'll hear this go, bam, watch. It just drops. Hear the poor kid, though. He squeals as he's being rescued. This kid's scarred for life. He needs a lot of therapy.
Let me see your hands right now.
You're gonna get shot.
Your hands.
You are going to get
Let
shot.
me see your hands right now. Let me see your hands right now. Let me see your hands right now. I'll kill you. I'll kill you. Drop the knife. Drop it. Come on, baby. Come on.
He's a warrior and a sweet dad, all at the same. That's a man's man right there. I love how his voice, he's trying to yell his commands, and it was hard because he's got a little bit of a hoarse voice. That guy's a stud, and that is Hillsborough County Sheriff's Deputy Anthony Gonzalez, 25 years old. He was a lion and a warrior, and at the same time, he was a loving, kind, gentle man. That is the picture of a man. God bless him. Thank you for what you did there, I'll make sure you, Deputy Gonzalez. Thank you very much, Deputy Anthony Gonzalez. 25 years old, and he's a man's man already. God bless him. Pray for him, because even when they do righteous shoots like that, they have to go through a lot of counseling, and they feel horrible, and they go through hell. It's not better to be the one shot, but it's a very, very life-altering and life-changing and scarring thing. Same thing for our soldiers who take lives. Even though they're righteous in what they do, it's a very hard thing to go through. I've not gone through it, but I have heard. I've talked to a lot of people. I sat face to face when I was doing a show in Atlanta with a police officer who shot and killed a man, and I was his only exclusive interview that he gave me. It was an amazing, compelling story. He came on with his attorney in studio, and he talked about how it changed him for the rest of his life. He was jumped by a guy that he did a traffic stop. But don't ever let anybody get away with saying routine traffic stop. There is no such thing as a routine traffic stop. That is a lie. It's a traffic stop. And on a traffic stop, people die. They can die in an instant. This cop pulled over two people. It was in the back of a strip mall. One got out and was complying. The other one ran. He chased the one that ran through a patch of forest, a little bit of a patch of forest between, I guess, apartment two office complex, what do you call it, strip mall things or something. And as he went through the little patch of forest, the guy turned around and shot the cop right in the chest. And he said it felt like this guy took a sledgehammer and was just full on swung right and hit him with a sledgehammer right in the chest. The cop went down. Can you imagine getting hit in the chest with a sledgehammer? That's how it felt. And the guy got on top of him, or the cop got on top of the guy, and the cop popped him and dropped him. But tense situations. God bless our officers. Oh, this is great. KJP. She's black. She's gay, but she's incompetent. KJP, this is from Andrew Stiles writing his column in the Free Beacon today. Quote, a book so bad it shattered liberals' faith in DEI. Imagine writing a book so bad it could shame Democrats and liberals into second-guessing their cult-like devotion to DEI. That's what John Pierre has done with Independent, a look inside a broken White House outside the party. She's now widely viewed, he says, in the words of a reporter who worked with her, as, quote, the most incompetent and irrelevant White House press secretary ever, quote. It's so true. Former colleagues describe her as ineffectual, unprepared, and kind of dumb. Yes, that's exactly right. Now comes Mrs. Hussein-Obama, Big Michael. Hey, Barack, pull over. I got to use a urinal. Big Mike. I was Googling something one time or whatever, and you find these things on social media, and it's got her doing her Let's Move thing. Remember, she was like doing, come on, that was her thing, her campaign, trying to get people to do exercise. Let's Move, and it shows her in like Zumba pants and some big, it's like some, this boom, like this bulge sticking out down there. The funniest thing in the world. Big Mike. Hey, Barack, I got to go to the bathroom. Pull over, I got to use a urinal. Mrs. Hussein-Obama is promoting her new book, The Look of Victimhood. Mm-hmm. It's described as a stunning journey through Michelle Hussein-Obama's style of evolution, The Look. In her own words, for the first time, nobody gives a bleep. Mrs. Hussein-Obama's intimate and candid stories illuminate, the description writes, illuminates her approach to dressing as evolved throughout her life. From the colorful sheathed dresses, the cardigans, the brooches she wore for the first time as First Lady, on the bold suits, the denim, the braids of her post-White House life, and all the active looks and beautiful gowns in between. But her strongest look, the victim. I may have added that. Here we go. Let's hear Mrs. Hussein-Obama. Victim. I'm a victim.
You said we were all too aware that as a first black couple, we couldn't afford any missteps. Yeah. And you also say, as a black woman, I was under a particularly white hot glare. Did you feel that?
For sure. You can't afford to get anything wrong because you didn't get at least until the country came to know us, we didn't get the grace that I think some other families have gotten.
I am a victim. I live in $20 million mansions on the sea, even though Barack Hussein Obama said the oceans would come up on and, whatever, we'd be buried in the ocean. My name is Mrs. Hussein Obama, and I am a victim. Check out her new book. It's called The Look of Victimhood. Oh, here's more. We live in a culture, Mrs. Hussein-Obama said, sadly, where, if somebody wants to go after a woman, the first thing to do is to go after her looks, our size, our physical being as a way to, okay, that's I understand about that. She doesn't get the nickname Big Mike for nothing. First Lady Melania Trump, she has been snubbed. They wouldn't put her on Vogue or any other stuff. She's a supermodel, a gorgeous, smashing woman. And Mrs. Hussein-Obama was on the cover of Vogue 3 times, and she's complaining. Kiss my rumpity rump. Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! We have a little update from our friends in Michigan, terrorists. Did you know a call to prayer can be heard in the streets of Dearborn, Michigan, a U.S. city? They do this. I've thought long and hard if I was in Dearborn and I was waking up to this, what I would do if I was a church. You want to... all right, enough of that. Let's, here, hold on. Blah, 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 blah. I've thought long and hard about Dearborn, Michigan. Like if I was waking up to the call to prayer or going to bed or whatever, you could hear that stuff. I'd be so upset. And what's the proper response? Godly response, Christian response. And I mean, I would definitely think that. Why couldn't you do prayers at the same volume? Supposedly, they might even be violating their own noise ordinances with the volume of it. I can't believe that's going on in American City. But if I was a Christian, there's a pastor that spoke out, and remember the mayor of Dearborn said, the day you move out of our city is the day I'll celebrate. And the pastor was calling out the fact that they were naming a street sign after a guy who loved and praised Hamas. They have rallies chanting "Death to America" in the streets of Dearborn, and the mayor does nothing about it. If I was that pastor, he's been overly kind and loving in the way a pastor should be, but also bold. Maybe not as bold as he should be, but bold. And I would do prayers every day. I would go over to the mosque that's doing those, and I would have a volume thing where you can do a VU meter, whatever it's called, not a VU meter, but a volume thing. And I would record it, and then I would show the volume, the meter, as you're standing right outside. Then look up in there, and I would go over to my church, and I would, but not being mean or anything, but just do prayers. Not at the same time, but just do a prayer, like an hour later, and do it before the morning one or after the morning one, an hour later or before the evening one, whatever they do. And I would just do a prayer, godly prayer, and put that at the same volume. See how that played out. That'd be interesting. But anyways, you don't need to be nasty about it. You shouldn't be nasty about it, but there's a way of being bold. That's what I do know. 2 Michigan men, Allahu Akbar. 2 Dearborn, Michigan men working with ISIS wanting to kill people, charged with receiving and transferring and attempting to receive and transfer firearms, knowing and having reasonably cause to believe that they would be used to commit terrorism. That's a long charge. It's like a paragraph. Terrorism charges in Dearborn, Michigan. They practiced shooting at a local gun range multiple times. The cops found and the FBI found 3 AR-15 style rifles, 2 shotguns, 4 pistols, more than 1,600 rounds of ammunition, along with other evidence, including GoPro cameras. GoPro cameras, just like the terrorists of Hamas. Tactical vests, other gear. There are multiple unnamed co-conspirators who allegedly practiced shooting at ranges with these 2 accused terrorists. Shocker. Their names are Muhammad Ali and Majid Mahmoud. I'm sure you're shocked. Radical Islamic terrorism? No. Dearborn, Michigan? No. They also allegedly scouted potential attacks at locations in Ferndale, Michigan, a suburb north of Detroit, known in part... Oh, gosh, look at this here. This is very serious, actually. They also scouted out potential attack locations in Ferndale, Michigan, a suburb of North Detroit, known in part for its LGBT nightlife. This could have been the second Pulse nightclub shooting. I told you I have a friend who's gay who was in Orlando at the time and went to that club from time to time, and I think it was 49 people that were slaughtered that night from a radical Islamist. And to this day, people think people in the mainstream media has told them this. People think that club shooting at the Pulse nightclub, slaughtering all those gay people at that Orlando nightclub was some Trump guy or some conservative. It was a radical Islamist. Period. A radical Islamist, and he did it because he searched at the last minute. He changed his target, and he said gay club Orlando, and that's where he went. He went to slaughter gays because he's a radical Islamist. These 2 guys may have been targeting for their second Pulse nightclub type of a shooting. Sick radical Islamists. They were allegedly planning to do the same thing as France. In France, remember that when 137 were dead and 400 injured, as they had multiple different attacks with automatic weapons and such. Co-conspirator 1 allegedly met with Ali and Athari, the two guys, before traveling abroad. When he returned, the U.S. Customs and Border Patrol agents reviewed his phone. They found Google searches involving ISIS, Islamic State, and selfies showing co-conspirator 1 wearing tactical gear and holding weapons. Allahu Akbar, y'all. Remember, Joe Biden told us that white supremacy is the number one threat. Meanwhile, ICE Houston doing a great job. Look at this. Here's the illegal. They were trying to arrest a MS-13 guy, Mara Salvatrucha, the Salvadoran gang, and they chased him into a laundromat. He climbed through ceiling panels up to a roof, ultimately landed on a business sign. Let's see that awesome, big, beautiful business sign. Here's an illegal in Houston hiding in a business sign. There he is! La Migra! La Migra! Yeah, he is no longer there. He is now in custody of ICE. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Let's look at that one more time. Look at that great picture. Oh, I love that. La Migra! La Migra! Was he fixing the sign? You're taking away jobs Americans won't do. Look at him. He's changing the E on the sign. He's trying to fix it. Let's see. He entered the United States after a January 2022 arrest in El Salvador, where he and other suspected MS-13 members were charged with aggravated extortion. No problem. Thank you, Joe, for bringing that guy in. Let's go to, I think Nancy Pelosi, honestly, I think she's starting to become a liability. And I'm not saying this as a joke. I'm not saying this as some whatever. This is very true. I think Nancy Pelosi has become a liability. I think she's losing it. Remember how she snapped at that one reporter and was all nasty and said something really stupid and dumb that was on the steps of the Capitol? That really gorgeous-looking reporter that works with Mike Lindell's television thing. And she nailed her on that one. And Pelosi got just looked like an ass. And I think it's because she's getting older. She's losing her abilities. I'm serious. So listen to this. Here she is asked about Trump, and the CNN reporter asked her a second time. He's like, what? Listen to this, because I don't think she would have said this 2-3 years ago. I know she doesn't like him or hates him, all that kind of stuff, but listen to this.
He's just a vile creature, the worst thing on the face of the earth. But anyway.
You think he's the worst thing on the face of the earth?
I do, yeah, I do.
Why is that?
Because he's the President of the United States and he does not honor the Constitution of the United States. In fact, he's turned the Supreme Court into a rogue court. He's abolished the House of Representatives. He's chilled.
First of all, I think what she means to say is he's so effective, I hate him. I think that's what she really is saying in there. But listen to this again. It's real fast towards the beginning of this.
He's just a vile creature, the worst thing on the face of the earth.
A vile creature, the worst thing on the face of the earth. So Hamas is not the worst thing on the face of the earth. So Adolf Hitler was not at one time the worst thing on the face of the earth. So terrorists are not the worst thing on the earth. People that produce and sell and kill people with drugs are not the worst thing on the earth. Rapists aren't. Trump is the worst thing. He is a vile creature. Talk about making somebody subhuman. That's just, I think she's lost it. I don't think she would have said that 2-3 years ago. I really don't. Okay, Obamacare. This is huge. Listen to this, because I don't think any of us knew this. Any of us, just between us girls here, you know. What's happening with Obamacare? Cities like Chicago, and this is the first thing they cite in Alyssa Finley's Wall Street Journal column today. Chicago, under Mayor Rahm Emanuel, took their city pensions, which are so insanely rich, over the top, unaffordable, like, you know, they're going to bankrupt the city and the state. He took their health care plans and shoved them on Obamacare, and poof, went billions of dollars of liabilities that they promised to these retirees from the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois. Listen to this. And they're doing it in all the blue cities. They're dumping their retirees on massive pensions and health care things and putting them onto Obamacare. We are bailing out blue states and their insanely liberal policies that bankrupt them, and we're bailing them out through Obamacare. And this is another reason why your premiums are skyrocketing. The subsidies have nothing to do with it. They're only 3% of the increases. I went through that with you the other day. Mayor Rahm Emanuel of Chicago, writes Alyssa Finley, he dumped his city's retirees on Obamacare. Voila, the $2.1 billion unfunded retiree health care liability vanished. Now U.S. taxpayers pick up the tab for Chicago retirees in their 50s and early 60s. Chicago's retirees. Detroit, Stockton, California, San Bernardino, California, all doing this. Detroit had $170 million annual retiree health care bill, made up 20% of its budget. One of the city's biggest costs, poof, they put them on Obamacare. You and I bail them out. This should not be allowed to happen. Obamacare, she says, could soon become a safety valve for underwater cities. Everywhere they are, we'll bail them out for their policies. And they just keep voting Dem, and they expect us to bail them out. No should be the answer. The liabilities in this are the largest blue states like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, which let workers retire early with generous benefits. We're subsidizing early retirement. Fluffy, comfortable early retirement. We're paying for that. So you and I will work more years to fund this garbage. Before Democrats sweetened the subsidies in 2021, that was Biden with his Obamacare subsidies that made people that are 400% above the poverty level pay for their health care. I've told you about that. Like, you can make $600,000 for a family of four in Phoenix, Arizona. We're subsidizing their health care, $600,000. A couple making $580,000 a year in West Virginia, we're subsidizing it. A single man or woman, single person, living in Vermont making $180,000, we're subsidizing it. We are bailing out, I don't say rich people, but well-off people and upper-class people. We're paying for their health care. That's what these subsidies are. It's a joke. It's a disgrace. So before Democrats sweetened the subsidies in 2021, government retirees with bigger pensions who were dropped onto Obamacare would have had to pay their full premium cost. Heaven forbid this might have pushed them to work longer. How about you work longer and we don't pay for your health care? New York City last year spent $3.7 billion on retiree health care, money that Mayor Zoran Mamdani might want to put on our backs with Obamacare so they can give free child care and free government-run grocery stores. In a way, you and I will be funding socialist, Marxist, communist policies. And he's going to win the mayorship here in a couple days. We'll talk about that in a moment. The result, says Finley, an older, sicker risk pool on the Obamacare exchanges, which would push up premiums and exacerbate the structural problems that prompted the Democrats to sweeten the subsidies in the first place. It's all a bailout, and we're paying for it. SNAP benefits. Two leftist Obama judges in Rhode Island and Massachusetts, leftist states, obviously, like blue states, forced Trump administration, ordered them to bail out SNAP benefits because of the Democrats. It's about to be the longest ever shutdown. Well, they are ordering them to pay what is left in the emergency fund for USDA, Department of Agriculture food program. $4.65 billion is all that's in there. You need $8 billion to pay for the 42 million people for SNAP. So you literally need $8 billion. We are literally $3.35 billion short. Only 51% of people are going to get help, and it's not going to last the whole 4 months. So this is a stupid thing. They're going to bleed dry the emergency fund for help for SNAP and for food. So if we have a real crisis, not a government, a Democrat made up whole cloth crisis. If we have a real crisis, we're screwed until this gets refunded. This is stupid. By the way, the USDA says it could take weeks or several months and could lead to payment errors and significant delays. So this is going to be, they're going to be shoveling money out, only get half the people help that need help. A lot of people are bums on this too, but they're going to get half the people out there that need help, and it might not even be received for several weeks or several months. This is a stupid disgrace, and all that needs to happen is the Democrats should have opened up the government a week or two or three ago and should have just accepted the clean resolution. We better not give one thing. So that when they come back, when the Democrats come back and they open the government up, they go, "Oh, we won!" What'd you win? I won something. I don't know. Is it here? I don't know. 700,000 ineligible SNAP recipients purged after USDA covers widespread food stamp fraud. So 700,000 ineligible recipients, 118 people arrested for fraud, illegals accused of stealing more than $150,000 in SNAP benefits in Ohio alone. Ohio has reported to losing $17 million in SNAP benefits to fraud in just the past 2 years. Holy cow. SNAP spending surged under Biden. this is food stamps, surged under Biden 40%, getting everybody on welfare, making everybody dependent on the government, getting as many people on Obamacare as they can get. Thousands of ineligible illegals used EBT cards, 5,000 deceased recipients. Now, very important to note that 29 states complied, I believe. It was 29 states that complied when Trump, the Department of Agriculture, reached out to all of our states, all of them, all 50 states, and said, we want to know, give us the names of the people that are on food stamps in your state, and we're going to compare it to the illegal immigrants. We're going to make sure that they're not illegals getting food stamps. 29 conservative states, I believe it was, said, yes, here's all the information. Please, we want you to get the illegals off the rolls. That's what they learned about Ohio. But 21 blue states said no. They literally want to block us from getting illegals off of SNAP. They want us to pay for illegals' food stamps. This is just filthy and disgusting. Elections have consequences. Here we go. North Texas man. To my peeps in DFW. I keep bumping into great folks. I bumped into a gentleman, Chad, last weekend at when I was going over at the cable place to swap out to drop off my box, and then yesterday I bumped into Sandra and her husband, and we took a picture. Those are both on my social media channels. You can see that. Hopefully, I'll bump into you. North Texas man suspected in 23 Target store thefts arrested in Tarrant County. A suspect named Winston Love was arrested in Watauga following a brief standoff related to a theft at a local Target store. He is suspected in 23 thefts from Target stores across multiple counties, totaling more than $37,000 in stolen merchandise. Stealing in Dallas, Watauga, Irving, Plano, Fort Worth, Flower Mound, Louisville, Frisco, Grapevine, Euless, Arlington, Mansfield, Temple, Harker Heights in 2 months alone. Lego merchandise is what a lot of it was. They also are going into Oklahoma and stealing, too. This is one of my favorite stories. Remember the monkeys that had hepatitis and herpes or whatever? They were hyper-aggressive rhesus monkeys? What the heck? A Mississippi mom sees one of the monkeys. It was obviously all over the news, and this is where it happened in Mississippi. She sees one of the monkeys running around her yard. The kid comes in, hey, Mom. She's a 35-year-old mother of 5. Children are from 4 to 16 years of age. She jumped out of bed, grabbed her grabbed her gun and her phone, went outside. And you know what she did? Hold on. She shot the monkey.
Don't you know you're gonna shock the monkey?
No. You're not supposed to shoot the monkey. You're supposed to shock the monkey.
Wheels keep turning.
Had to reference that. 60 feet from her home, she said she spotted the monkey, chose to take matters into her own hands to ensure children's safety. I did what any mother would do to protect her children, she said. Hold on, let's play a little bit more of this. Why not have a little fun here? Hold on. I did what any mother would do to protect her children. I shot it, and it just stood there. I shot it again, and he backed up, and that's when he fell. Shot the monkey, not shock the monkey. Oh, boy. I shot it. It just stood there, shot it again. He backed up, and that's when he fell. If attacked by somebody's kid, and I could have stopped it, that would be a lot on me. These are actually hyper-aggressive monkeys, and they are up to, I think, 26 pounds. So I don't blame her. I don't at all. I mean, nobody wants to see an animal shot, but it is what it is. Hyper-aggressive. So, they're between 9 and 26 pounds, depending on its sex. And they are indeed hyper-aggressive, according to the folks handling them. So there it was. Canada is now so woke, even you can't make this up. Canada is now so woke, planes and trains are making land acknowledgments to honor native tribes. These people are just sick. Air Canada's display, written in French, says Air Canada recognizes the ancestral and traditional indigenous territories it overflies. It's right. It's flying. I am recognizing you. I am recognizing you. Hello to you over there. I stole your land. I stole your land. We're flying over stolen land. And then another one on a train says Via Rail, a.k.a. Mugger Mover, or Jail Rail. Via Rail acknowledges the ancestral and traditional indigenous territories on which our trains operate. These people are so stupid. If you want to do that, give it back to them. Stop acknowledging it. I have stolen. I'm still stealing it from you now. Shut up. Give it back or shut up. Now. Oh, gosh. AI? You think AI is the future? First of all, I saw something. I retweeted it on my Twitter feed over the weekend. All this AI all these companies that have spent all this money on AI, there's been zero gains from the many companies who have invested tons of money in AI to save money have gotten zero out of it so far. That's a very fascinating thing I retweeted the other day on Twitter from a mainstream source. Now comes Google's Gemma AI, and this is how bass-backwards AI is. Look at this. Marsha Blackburn, somebody put in when on Google's Gemma AI, has Marsha Blackburn been accused of rape? The model responded. She's a U.S. senator from Tennessee. There's no such thing from this woman that has happened like that. So somebody Googled, asked Google Gemma AI, has Marsha Blackburn been accused of rape? The model responded falsely by claiming that during Blackburn's 87 state Senate campaign, a state trooper alleged she pressured him to obtain prescription drugs for her and that the relationship involved non-consensual acts. There were links provided by Gemma AI to support these accusations, and they led to error pages and unrelated news articles. Recently, she also had Robbie Starbuck, who moved to Nashville not too long ago, and he is suing Google because in a lawsuit, Starbuck claims that Google's AI models, including Gemma, generated defamatory statements about him being a child rapist and a serial sexual abuser. This is some sick crap that's going on with this. It is nowhere near where it needs to be. Zoran Mandani is going to be the mayor tomorrow. I believe the election is tomorrow the 4th, right? So he's going to be the mayor, period. Mandani campaign tried to say, this is great. Hussein-Obama called him, former President Hussein-Obama called him. He tried to say that Hussein-Obama is not endorsing it, was not a big deal because it's beneath the president. But Hussein-Obama did endorse Bill de Blasio in 2013. So it's just he doesn't want to endorse an Islamist, even though Barack kind of winks and nudges and likes the guy. Who doesn't love an Islamist in the Democrat Party, right? If you're a Jew, good luck with that. Islamist, A-okay. Andrew Cuomo would beat Zoran Mandani in a head-to-head race for the NYC mayor, says a bombshell poll in the New York Post today. In a hypothetical two-way race, Cuomo tops Mandani by 5.6 points. That's a lot. Curtis is not going to drop out. Curtis Lewa, he was my boss. I interned for him in 1995 at WABC Talk Radio. Nice guy, but he should drop out, and he should have dropped out a long time ago. And that's it. I will see you mañana.